Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another sketch drawing using a Bic pen. Now this one's going to be in two stages because I think that whilst doing this one I realised that I think it would be better if there was some colour added to it. So with this drawing, which is part one, we're just going to be doing the usual Bic pen, just plotting the lines and building the structure of the face. Now when we plot these lines, it's important, particularly when we're doing portrait drawing or portrait painting, that we understand the relationship between the features and how they interact with each other. And that's the main reason why I always begin with the nose, because everything else can anchor and orientate off of that because it's central to the face. So it's important that you get the lines, the orientation and the angles that you need and how they relate to each other. So it's no good if you are doing a portrait drawing and you've got the nose perfect, exactly the way that you want it to look from your subject. But then when you come to do the eyes or the mouth, if your angle and your distance isn't accurate on that, then you're not going to end up looking like the person that you want to look like, even though the first feature, as we said, the nose for example, might have been very good and close to the outcome that you wanted to achieve. If you don't orientate that to the other features the way that it needs to be, then it's going to give you a real issue when it comes to the final piece of work. So again, just moving through as we're trying to build the structure of the face, it's essential that we get to a position that we can begin to start shading. So that's what you can see happening here. Now, with the shading element of the work, it's important that, again, you don't constrict yourself into a position where you're thinking, oh, you know, we have to achieve a certain look or style. This is really about enjoying the art and allowing your hands to move freely so that you can achieve a piece of work at the end that isn't just accurate in terms of your portraiture, but it's pleasing from an artistic perspective, because again, the sketchy lines, that just ensures that you keep the art in what you do. There was a long time in art where, you know, sketching and rough lines was frowned upon, but I was never somebody that adhered to that. I always think that that's where you keep and maintain the art within what you're actually trying to deliver. So again, just cross-hatching across the neck, where we can see the shadowing from her face is casting a shadow onto the neck, and she's wearing a polo neck as well. So we're just making sure that we get that rendering in. Going a little bit heavier around the eyes now. And again, I'll tell you this at this point, it's a good thing when we're plotting the dots, because what it allows you to do is you can make slight adjustments and slight movements to what you're doing. Because you'd be surprised, sometimes I'll start a drawing and I'll be absolutely sure that drawing is you know, it's on point and it's exactly the way that I want it to look. But then near the end I'll notice that maybe I've orientated an ear a whole centimetre too high or too low from where it should be. This can happen. So what I would say to you is that it's essential and important that you plot the dots in a light way, enough so that you can see it, but just plot the dots in a light way so that you can come back and go heavier later on in the drawing once you're sure of the orientation. And again, just building the planes of the face, ensuring that we have got good shadowing and shading around the eyes and the various layers and levels of the face. Okay, and just more rendering around the chin and on the lips. And you're using a featherlight technique. Now, when I say featherlight, obviously what I'm trying to get to there is just trying to let everybody understand that you need to make very, very, very slight applications with the pen onto the paper. Now, this is why I particularly enjoy using the Bic pen, because the range of application that you can use is very, very wide. So you can go very, very light if you want, or you can go very dark, and that's why I like it, because it allows that versatility, and the flow of the ink is very, very good. So if you're somebody that wants to get involved in ballpoint pen art, and it's becoming more and more popular as we go along, then a Bic pen is what I would recommend to you. I've got no relationship with them, as I've stated several times, but I would say to you that in terms of a product, and for what you're doing in terms of ballpoint pen art, you're going to struggle to do better than a Bic pen. So that's where I would give you my first bit of advice in terms of what tools that you use. Okay, so at this stage, there's a particular type of pen that I like to use as well. Since we're being so kind to Bic, I must say that Staedtler, they have a type of pen that I'm using at this stage on the neck, which just adds that extra little bit of sheen and extra darkness to the drawing that the Bic pen can't quite achieve. So I do tend to use Staedtler pens as well, particularly their ink pen. I think it's brilliant. So again, that's one that I would recommend that you go ahead and make sure that you've got in your list of equipment, because it really does add that tone, that extra level that you need just to make the drawing pop somewhat. Okay, so as we're just approaching the end of stage one for this drawing, I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. And remember, I do come out on Thursdays and Sundays every week. I hope that you subscribe and like what you're seeing. And if you do, make sure you turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. We're going to be doing a lot more in terms of Bic pen work, but in regards to this piece of work, I will be coming back to it in a part 2 and adding some colour pencils so you can see how a drawing can really develop from there. In any event, hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye bye.